One of the main spectacles of this political show took place backstage when Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin clinked glasses while seated almost shoulder to shoulder at the UN Grand Dinner. This first such close encounter between the leaders in 2 years took place perhaps not without the assistance of the UN Secretary General. He's sitting right there in between Obama and Putin, possibly to ease tension, which was pretty clear to see in the beginning. It's fair to say there was a definite lack of eye contact between the leaders, only perhaps the odd glance, just like during a live broadcast of the D-Day celebrations in Normandy last year.
I looked at you, you looked at me, I smiled at you, you smiled at me.
Yeah, however, while sitting down at his desk in the assembly, President Putin wasn't lacking attention. Some merely wanted to introduce themselves to the Russian delegation. Others were a little more daring and asking for photos. But of course the core action took place at the main stand in the Assembly Hall, with dozens of leaders taking to the stage to give their assessment of the world's events. President Obama was among the first speakers to take the microphone. And while watched carefully by the rest of the world, he failed to get the full attention of his own delegation. Perhaps the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry a bit sleepy, though he does have to deal with a very heavy schedule these days. And some others in attendance seemingly exhausted by it all as well. Well, however, we were listening very closely when both Obama and Putin were speaking, and we noted more than a few clashing statements coming from the two leaders.
Even as we helped the Libyan people bring an end to the reign of a tyrant, our coalition could have and should have done more to fill a vacuum left behind.
Instead of democracy and progress, violence, poverty, social catastrophe. Do you even realize what you've done?
I believe that what is true for America is true for virtually all mature democracies.
We're all different, and this should be respected. No one's obliged to conform to a single development model that's considered by somebody else as the only right one.
Realism also requires a managed transition away from Assad and to a new leader.
We think it's an enormous mistake to refuse to cooperate with the Syrian government and its armed forces, who are valiantly fighting terrorism face to face.
The Ukrainian people are more interested than ever in aligning with Europe instead of Russia.
Some of our colleagues gave our post-Soviet countries the wrong option. Choose between the West or the East.
It's been a long time since the Russian president visited America. Previously, Vladimir Putin has received a very warm welcome over there. He's been to New York, Texas and Maryland. And apparently he and George W. Bush, America's president at the time, had some pretty good chemistry. Some of the lighter moments the pair shared during Putin's visit in 2003 here, caught on camera. And in 2007, George Bush Sr. hosted the Russian leader at his family home in Maine. However, years on, things have changed for Vladimir Putin, judging by what Western politicians and the media have been saying.
Vladimir Putin needs to know that unless his behavior changes...
If he continues down the path that he is on, violating international...
It appears Vladimir Putin has no good options.
Well, despite the tensions at present, Putin and Obama spent about an hour and a half behind closed doors at the UN. Following their meeting, President Putin spoke to the press, saying the conversation was constructive and frank, but differences still remain. Now, Putin's visit to the UN certainly gained many headlines. But ahead of the president's arrival to New York, RT's Ilya Petrenko went for a stroll on New York streets wearing a Putin T-shirt. Here are some of the reactions.
Putin T-shirt's on me, and I'm ready to hit the streets of New York.
I like your shirt. $20.
Well, so far the only reaction I've been getting is people smiling at me sometimes, but that's about it. Can I take a selfie with you?
With me?
Yeah. So you don't mind taking a selfie with me when I'm wearing this shirt?
Oh, no.
Is that a problem for you?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Can I take a selfie with you?
I don't know you, man.
Can I do it? You know who that is?
Never seen him.
That's Putin.
Never seen him before a day in my life.
Really? Can I take a selfie with you? Thank you. So you don't mind me taking, like, a selfie with you when I'm wearing this T-shirt?
Oh my God, Putin! I didn't even see it. Okay.
It's like that t-shirt.
I'm cool with it.
Right at this moment, there's an anti-Putin protest happening in New York. So let's see what happens if I go there wearing that t-shirt.
Слава Україні! Слава